No, close of business, I think, would be 5 o'clock would be
Okay,
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
So not
Yeah.
noon,
We do-
5.
5? Do we want to set a date for, we're not open till 5.
I'm here till 5.
Okay. Do we want to set a date for the meeting?
That would have to
We
be,
could do
it
it
would
on
have
the
to
8th.
be 2 more weeks later?
Yeah, the
Is
8th
that
is the
correct?
earliest.
So- Well, I think that we should,
You want to do like the next meeting?
well, we're gonna have the meeting at the auditorium, so we would have to know if it's even available. I don't wanna set a date and then come back and, so could you check
Okay,
into
yep.
some dates? And
Yeah, I'll
then we
find out
can,
some
yeah, that'd be great. Okay, thanks.
Okay, I have one more item. As you know, we have submitted our application for the Community Compact support and funding. There was an article in the paper, and I guess the question was raised, are you going to hire somebody? And the answer is no. This is a state program where they offer assistance to cities and towns through the regional planning commissions. And the state pays the regional planning commission staff people to provide the assistance. So there's no cost whatsoever to the town. I think we're making good progress on our own, but why would we turn down help from an expert paid for by the Commonwealth? It just makes sense for us to utilize somebody, that support if we can get it. No certainty that we can get it, but I did get a response from Sean Cronin, the Deputy Commissioner of Revenue, that our application is on file, has been received, and it's pending, so we'll see. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have meeting minutes from January 25th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of Monday, January 25th as written.
We have a second.
Second.
We all set? Any comments? Errors or misses? No? If not? Diane?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. Julie?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, that is unanimous. And the next order of business is appointment of Noah Castle to the Cultural Council. And this appointment will expire on June 30th of this year, correct?
Yeah. I make a motion to appoint Noah Castle to the Cultural Commission with an expiration date of June 30th, 2016.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. That's unanimous. Mr. Mayo's here to talk about tomb restoration grant. Alan? Good evening.
Alan? Just place it.
I'm in hopes that you all get your packet that I sent over. I want to take a minute to give you a little bit of history about this project. This project started in 2012. And we're allowed to apply for this grant every 2 years until the project's completed. We applied in 2014 for the second phase, and it was completed. And so I'm back here this year to hopefully apply. We would have applied last year, but of course, we had the playground issue with the state that we were all fighting. And I wanted to make sure we took care of that before we move forward with any more grants. This grant is a lot different than that grant because it is run through the MPPF program, which is Massachusetts Preservation Projects Funding, through the Mass Historical Commission. Before you can spend any money on the project, if you get awarded the grant, you have to have a contract in place with the state. Once the state signs the contract, they can't back out like they tried the last time. So, it's a little bit safer. I've been doing this project, program for a number of years, starting back in 2008. I've never had any issues with the Mass Historical Commission as far as getting grant funding or getting reimbursed. They've always been very easy to deal with, and they've done a great job. Some of the projects that we worked on, we've repaired stones behind the first church in 2008 when they were damaged in the ice storm. 2011, we did the World War I monument through this project, through this grant. 2012 and 2014, we have done 2 phases of the tomb restoration. This phase that I'm looking to do is the final phase. It would complete the project. To date, the state has spent nearly $136,000 on those tombs, and the town has matched that. Matching funds in the first 2 rounds of the grant have come through the CPC, Community Preservation. I have been in touch with them, and I will have to work through them as well in order to get the funding to work for us. What I'm looking for tonight is for you to approve the added list of project authorization, which is a list of the people that now work for the town and the positions that they are in order to administer the grant. One thing that you may want to think about is who signs your grant application, is authorized to sign the grant application, and is authorized to enter into the contract if you get awarded. In the past, what's happened is the present chair that signs the grant application is not the chair once we get the award in June, because we reorganized the board. So we would have to go back and re-vote for the new chair to sign the contract. There is the possibility that the town administrator can do all of that for you, being that he will be here throughout the interim. So that's your choice, how you want to go about that. You can either do the chair for the application and then re-vote it when we reorganize in the spring, and I'm assuming you will reorganize, you usually do. So I'm just trying to throw out some of the issues that have happened in the past grants that we will have to jump through the hurdles to get to them. The other vote I'm looking for tonight is to authorize me to be the LPC. That's a local project coordinator. I work between the town and Mass Historical and all the contractors and out on the job and just oversee the entire project. I've done that in the last 2 phases, and everything has gone very smoothly. We haven't had any issues with contractors, or the work has been done really well and up to par. And I would just like to try to see this project finished. I am on the agenda for the CPC meeting coming up next week. I have already got approval from the cemetery commissioners to move the project forward. They would like to see it finished as well. We're 2/3 through the project, and I hate to see it just sit there. It's been 3 years since we did the last round, because we waited through the financial issues and the things to try to make it work. I did attend a workshop in January for this round of grants, so everything's set to go. If I can get an approval tonight, then I will move the project forward. As you can see, this is the start of my application. It's pretty extensive. The application has to be in by March 23rd. So I got a lot of work ahead of me, so I'm trying to move things along as quick as I can so that I have plenty of time to get this done and hopefully we'll end up with an award. I am looking for the maximum amount the state will allow, which is $50,000.
And what are these funds going to be used for?
They're gonna be used to restore and preserve the tombs behind the first church in Templeton.
Okay.
Many years ago, those tombs were bricked up because kids at that time had gotten into the tombs and actually had taken some of the body parts out,
Ugh.
strewed them and stuff. So they protected them as best they could. Now we have gone back in because the tombs started to lean and fall and deteriorate, so we're trying to restore them and protect the integrity of them. And we had 15 original tombs, and there are 9 of them completed. We completed 3 in the first phase and 6 in the second phase. We did the first phase with 3 simply to see how the project was gonna go and what we were gonna be involved with. The second phase, we did 6, and it went well. We have 6 left to do. I am estimating it's going to be close to the same amount as we spent the last time, which is 50,000 from the state, 50,000 from the town. The CPC likes to levy other grant funds along with their funds when they do these kind of projects, just so that we can get the best bang for our buck. So we get $100,000 worth of work out of $50,000, so, it's worked well. We have done it twice with the CPC on this particular project, and so I am pretty sure they wanna see it completed as well.
All right, anyone have any other questions of Alan? If not, could we have a motion to designate someone to sign the contracts, is that?
Except,
First, we have to make a motion to allow him to move forward, correct?
I need a
First,
motion
it's-
for me to be the LPC.
Yeah.
Which is the local project coordinator, and then to authorize that list of people that you have in front of you to administer the grant if we get an award.
So, I think we should have the town administrator sign the contracts for continuity, and not having to have somebody come back and have to revote it if we do reorganize to have a different chair. I don't know if that makes sense or doesn't make sense, or how we normally, I mean, you're currently signing contracts for this,
As a rule, I don't sign anything unless you vote it.
okay, I just, you know, I think I was going through my head and like
But,
thinking, so.
Whatever the
I
committee, the
agree
board
with
wants to
Diane. I
do.
think that we should suggest that it be the town administrator, so that Alan doesn't have
So
to
I'm not
jump through more
gonna
hoops
approve the whole list, I would like to see,
when the board rearranges.
well, we have to vote on it, so, well, I make a motion to, approve the project authorization list, changing, the chairman of the board instead to be the town, administrator, and to have, Alan Mayo as the local project coordinator for the tomb restoration project. That is my motion.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
This list,
Hearing none. Diane?
yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes, that's unanimous.
So could you just like fix the list and then just,
Yep, I will
send everything
correct
to- I
the
mean,
list,
this is my
and I
copy.
will get the original contract to Holly so that, the original application forms to Holly so that Bob can sign them. And then if we do get an award, then he would get the contract and sign it as well, so
thank you.
I thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Can I have my mic?
Yes, you can.
Steve Castle. Cable license.
How are you this evening? So as Bob mentioned earlier, we reached a verbal agreement with Comcast on Friday for the new license and the PEG portion of it, which is Public Education and Government, the Cable Access TV channel, and the funding for that at 4.5% of TV revenues. In town, you can go up to 5%. Currently, we take 2%, and $120,000 in capital. And the call went surprisingly smooth.
I was amazed.
So, that's good. There isn't too much else to negotiate in these contracts, unfortunately, and I banged away at density requirements to try to get, there's about 12 houses in Templeton that cannot get wired for cable because of density requirements, and Comcast will charge people several $1,000s to run the cable there, and they just won't budge on it, so.
Actually, only 12, that's,
About that, yeah.
yeah.
There's a few down Queen Lake Road, and a few on Old Royalston Road and Crotty, I believe. But, you know, that's the bad news on it. The good news is we've only had 2 requests from those people in 10 years, so most of them have satellite, and they only do so much, right? So, I think if the rest of the contract remains this, as we have it currently, I think that's okay. And I just wanted to give you kind of an informational update on this, and as far as the capital goes, I submitted what we submitted last night to the capital planning board, and Doug has seen this, just to give you an idea of how some of that money may be spent over 10 years, and we certainly wouldn't want to spend it all at once, and we would certainly want to save money as we go along with that. As well, you have an agreement that we're working on, a memorandum of understanding with the school. I met with Dr. Hemman this morning, and he's in agreement with just about everything in there. We worked on a little bit of the language. We're gonna nice it up a little bit, so they won't think that we're scolds. But I think if you were to take a few minutes in the next couple of weeks and read that over, you'll get a sense of what we can do with this program, not just for a TV channel in standard definition that is gonna have limited appeal, but as we discussed before, when I was here last time, I think, we can also do a website with streaming video on it, and possibly build a nice event calendar that will get people going to the website, and that opens up the possibility for more educational opportunities at the school level, not just with students that are interested in video broadcasting, but say web design or social media or journalism or anything else, photography, graphic arts, business, marketing. And the school can really participate, I think, in helping us form a business and market it to the Templeton community and the area beyond that, and provide a really nice billboard for the town of Templeton. So people will want to come here, live in our houses, and do business with us, and visit and spend money in town. And so the idea is to provide both an educational and an economic platform for the town and its students. As Bob said, just to reiterate what he said about this may be the last cable contract with streaming, I think it would be extremely remiss if any board governing this did not come up with a plan within 3 years to be self-sustainable over the 10-year period. And that's gonna be a challenge. You know, even if you can get memberships and sponsorships locally, I think we have to hit the ground running and really think about, okay, how are we gonna try to monetize this in a fair way and give people opportunities in town to do that. And also, something that's come up in the talks are fiber optic connections, which can get really technical, so I'll try to simplify it. As part of the negotiations with Comcast, we talked about a fiber optic line from this building to the school, where the station may be located, pending the agreement with the school, to transmit the video that Sean is taping and behind the curtain right now. And it would be $50,000. You know, do we want to do that? And can the town build off of that line in the future if, say, you know, we talked about the police department hooking up to that so they can look at records in a much quicker way. A fiber optic connection is gonna give you a bandwidth and speeds like this compared to, you know, what we're getting now from cable, which is this, and then the last mile comes down the copper. So you can have all kinds of bottlenecking issues. I fear that in 5 to 10 years, Templeton could be at a disadvantage because other communities are being wired with fiber optics to the home. Leominster has Fios. That's as far as Verizon is going, as far as anyone can tell. So they're probably not gonna come here towns west of us are now being served by Mass Broadband. Because we have cable with Comcast, we're not eligible to join some of that. But we have Mass Broadband strung fiber right along 2A and with a spur up Baldwinville Road all the way to emergency response. And we checked on prices of using that to transport video from here to the school. Guess how much they said? $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And that's because one gentleman explained it to me, when they set this program up, I think it was a stimulus program, if I wasn't mistaken, or it came through that. They had to set it up so the fiber provider, Axia, could make money. And how they would charge us is, this is the really crazy part, the signal from here would actually go to Orange first, and then to the school, because that's the point of origin, and they would charge you by the mile. Now, that may change, some people would say, in 3 to 5 years, as they start wiring all these other towns, and we may have an opportunity there to leverage what we build with the school to see if we can create partnerships. Is that understandable? So, there may be options before we do that to hop on fiber now while it's very, very expensive. And the question, we may have an option in the contract with Comcast, I think we will, I think we negotiated this, to purchase their $50,000 fiber from here to the school within a year or two. I don't know if we want to do that. To me, that's a very important infrastructure decision for the town to make, and, you know, a board of directors and the select board to make. So, I think you've got kind of a race to self-sustainability with this, certainly, and potentially a race to get the next wave of communications infrastructure in Templeton, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So, I can explain all of this more and give you a more detailed presentation in a couple of weeks, hopefully, when we have a written proposal from Comcast. We put a deadline of the end of February on this. Our attorney says it's probably doubtful that Comcast is gonna turn around a contract that we can agree to by then, so we'll just extend it. But I know the board suggested it wanted to have some sort of forum to discuss this and what it would mean for Templeton, and I'd be glad to show you a presentation at the next meeting, and we can have a forum about it.
All right, I think we will set something up and do that, because I think it's important that people know what's going on.
Absolutely. Mhm. And the only other thing I'd like to add is Julie and I were talking about Scout Hall a little bit. I think Templeton Community Television and the cable board would be interested in possibly utilizing Scout Hall if it were to be a community or a youth center, and we could have a little camera set up like that in there that people can tape shows. And if there's, you know, if it's a place where performers are, sometimes there's room to put a little stage there if you wanted to. We could tape there as well, so we'll gladly serve on any committee
Well,
for
that's-
Scout Hall, and it could provide a nice public face for what we're trying to do with this.
Well, if we are gonna preserve and keep that building, obviously, we want people in there using it. So, that sounds like an interesting idea.
I think we could do a lot with this, and with Scout Hall, and with the school program. And I should mention the school, the instructor there, Christine Silva's doing a really nice job, and they're already doing promos for the Wizard of Oz. So we're hoping to get those on the channel soon, and it's looking up.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Wilson Road project?
We talked about that already.
We talked about, anything else you wanna add to that? It's on the agenda here, so,
No?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
all right. Presidential primary, the warrant?
Just need that approved and signed. You can have it served, posted.
Did you see it? It's right here.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the warrant?
So,
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion, hearing none. Diane?
yeah.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes. And how many of these we need signed?
Just one.
Just one.
Just one? Okay, Julie's signing it and we'll pass it down. And Scout Hall project, we've already discussed, we've already done the MRPC representative. Is there, any other business before we go into executive session?
Yes, I just have a comment. A resident wrote to me and said that she was was coming from Barry to here and was impressed with the sanding. It was Dave Smart, and that he was just doing it in the places that needed to be done and not really wasting sand, and just really didn't know where to go to formally thank him and express her gratitude for all that they do for us. And she did go and say thank you, but she asked for me to do that publicly, so I am. So thank you to David Smart. You know,
Pass the word on.
Doug, anything you wanna?
No, I don't have anything.
No. Don't we have a senior center event coming up here at the end of the month?
you do?
Or is my memory faulty?
Friday Railroad.
Yeah, they're doing the railroad program.
Yeah.
And then the food pantry is moving,
Mm.
around the end of the month, 1st of March. You know, from the garage over to the new building.
Good.
Is that gonna be located in the cellar of the new building,
In the lower
the
level.
food
Yep.
pantry?
And do you have anything, Julie?
I do not.
All right. With that, we will vote to go into executive session. We will not reconvene in open session. We will adjourn. There will be no other business transacted, excuse me. Per Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21.1, to discuss reputation, character, physical condition, mental health, rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Also, for MGL Chapter 38, Section 21.2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contracts with personnel. For Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21.3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may be have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and I so declare that it would. So, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded to go into executive session. Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes. It's 7:30. Let's take 5 minutes and